Hello and welcome to episode 3 of Not Quite Nerds. I'm Matt.
I'm Luch.
And I'm Mallory.
That was much smoother. We'll get there. It wasn't the smoothest, but we will get there, right? I think we're getting there though. We've shown this professionalism that we're bringing to the podcasting industry, right? Bearing in mind, of course, that what you see otherwise is like celebrities starting their own podcasts, and then they've got a whole production crew behind them. You know, there's somebody sitting in a booth doing all the sound levels, whereas it's just us in our, well, you guys have significant sized houses and I live in a cupboard under the stairs. So,
I'm pretty sure this apartment is smaller than your cupboard under the stairs.
Well, yeah.
We're just doing your Harry Potter impression.
I'm doing my best Harry Potter impression. Yeah. You'll hear it right now. There's kids running up the stairs. Specifically.
Oh, Dudley.
Yeah. Dudley! Yeah. Bloody Dursleys. On this week's show, Mallory's going to update us on where she's at with her Marvel watch through. We're going to swing back to some lost opportunities. We talked last week about the Howling Commandos. More to come. Luch is going to discuss some Lego news. I'll do a brief roundup of stuff that's been happening. And we'll have a staff pick, which will be Mallory this week. Exciting.
Can you figure out what it might be?
I wonder.
Oh, yeah. Fully wonder.
Yeah, I know, right?
Could possibly.
Crazy. Maybe we should get sponsorship from a hockey jersey company.
I know of one.
Oh, well, yeah. Surprising.
And they also work with our dear, I'm going to call him a friend because we've met him before.
Yeah.
William Smith.
Yeah.
He also told us about the time we all went to, what was it called?
We drove across.
We drove across country together. There's a whole story. He said it. It's true.
Yeah, it must be true. Kevin Smith is the inspiration, of course, for us ever getting together and talking.
It's very true.
Kevin
Just he never shuts up.
Kevin Smith, who I've seen in, I worked this out the other day, London, Manchester, Edinburgh, New York, and LA.
I was there for London. I was there for Manchester and New York.
And New York. Yeah.
I was not there in LA.
You were not.
I'm just New York.
Yeah. And it's his fault I live in Edinburgh now, effectively. You know, because I came up here in 2007 to see Clerks 2 premiere, fell in love with the city during the festival, thought it was this cool city full of festival life, which it is for the month of August. Thought it was perfectly sunny and beautiful and bright all the time.
And then you realized it was Scotland.
Yeah. Then I realised that 50 Shades of Grey was written about the weather here.
Oh, gosh.
The fact that you just fell in love with a Scot has nothing to do with the fact that you live in Edinburgh.
Nothing to do with it at all. That's a story for a different time. Mallory, where did you get to? What have you watched this week?
So this week was kind of a slow week. Getting ready for vacation. So I have only watched it's still kind of scary. I've still watched this much in a week. Guardians of the Galaxy, X-Men Apocalypse, Deadpool, and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
So,
I mean, you got a couple of bangers there.
Oh, it was a good week. It was a very enjoyable
A couple
week.
of bangers there.
And X-Men Apocalypse, I still think it's pretty good. It's obviously not the same caliber as Deadpool and the Guardians, but
But that's hard to measure up to because those are two borderline perfect movies in this genre. Now, Apocalypse, remind me, is that the one with Peter Dinklage, or am I thinking of Days of Future Past?
Days of Future Past.
Yeah.
Apocalypse is the one with who's the guy that plays Moon Knight?
Yeah, it is, and he plays Apocalypse.
Oscar Isaac?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oscar Isaac. Yeah.
As Apocalypse.
Yeah, he
the first meeting.
Because he was Poe Dameron in Star Wars.
Yeah.
Right? Same actor?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. But Sophie Turner is in it. She's introduced to the X-Men as young Jean Grey. We're back to our young X-Men. You have Michael Fassbender. You have, why am I blanking on his name? Oh my goodness, who plays Professor Xavier?
Oh, no, I'm blanking on his name. It's right, Wanted.
Such a versatile actor.
Yeah, totally.
And Glass and Split, I believe.
Yeah.
Googling this.
Those that's something for another conversation. Those M. Night Shyamalan movies with Unbreakable, like that's something else we could talk about. But he who is that actor? That's indeed.
James McAvoy.
James McAvoy.
There we go. Yes, phenomenal.
Yeah.
So he has so talented. Can do anything.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
it's an interesting movie because the first movie after Days of Future Past, so it's now a different timeline than the original X-Men movie because they changed the future in Days of Future Past. So you are reintroduced to Storm, and her relationship with them is different than it was initially. So it's a pretty cool movie. I enjoyed it. It's obviously way different than Deadpool and Guardians of the Galaxy.
It's a different caliber. It's a different level. Like it's not there.
No,
Those
but
two are
still
pretty
good.
high end.
Yeah.
Still good.
Olivia
Dude,
Munn,
Mhm.
Olivia Munn was so good in this. Underutilized in the MCU.
It's my question to you, first question, it occurred to me was, you said Guardians of the Galaxy, then X-Men, then Deadpool, then Guardians of the Galaxy 2. But Guardians and Guardians 2 are meant to be watched like concurrently, right? They're set timeline-wise back to back.
Much.
It is.
Because I'm
So did you actually just insert those two movies in there, or somebody recommended that you watch?
So I inserted them because while they are meant to watch back to back, there's a gap in between them. Just because, they're now the Guardians, they're defending the galaxy, they're being hired to do other jobs. Like it starts off with them trying to get save the batteries for the Sovereign.
Some of them are trying to
and
the batteries. Some of them are trying to benefit from the batteries. There's different.
So rocket.
yeah, and obviously Groot has grown. So because Guardians 1 ends with him just a little stick. Guardians 2 starts off, he has legs.
Yeah.
So there's obviously a gap. So I filled that gap with X-Men and Deadpool. And it's just more because of when both movies are released, that they were released in between both Guardians. So,
Okay.
That's reasonable. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so Guardians.
Yeah.
How's it holding up for you?
So good. Soundtrack, phenomenal. Movies, knowing what it's so fun rewatching them, knowing what's going to happen and kind of the things that you do see online, like the fact that Peter Quill has the translator behind his ear, and so now you notice that it's behind his ear. And then knowing what's going to happen in Guardians 3 and seeing the way that Rocket acts is it's just kind of interesting to watch. And Yondu, love Yondu. I mean, you don't realize how much you love Yondu in the first movie, and then rewatching it, knowing what's going to happen in the second movie, he's just amazing. Everyone loves the "I'm Mary Poppins, y'all" line.
Great.
At Comic-Con, the year that after that movie was released, I actually saw him at a panel. And he called up James Gunn, left him a voicemail with the entire audience yelling on Mary Poppins, y'all.
Yeah.
And in typical Mallory fashion, it still makes me cry.
Of course.
Every day of his funeral, I cry. And you guys know, you get me with a good movie, I'm going to cry.
But that scene in Guardians 2 is just, not only is it emotional because you've seen this, you've learned about Yondu's kind of like being a father figure to Peter Quill for almost his entire life. I mean, Peter Quill gets abducted at what, like he's 10, I think?
He's something as young.
Like 10, 11, somewhere along those lines. And obviously now he's in his 40s. So he's really the only father he's ever known because he didn't really know Ego. I mean, he learns about him obviously. But just not only is it just beautiful emotionally, just the visuals were absolutely stunning. I mean, if we could be in space right now, I feel like that would be my funeral that I would want. I would want a Ravager funeral. I want all of those, the lights and everything else and all that. It's like it's a celebration.
So my issue with them is Guardians 1 is brilliant and holds up. Guardians 1 is an outstanding movie, and I could watch it week in, week out. Love every minute of it. I think it's so well done. Guardians 2 is not on the same level.
Definitely not. But I think it doesn't drop as much as other sequels do. I mean, everyone knows a sequel is never as good as the original movie, except for Terminator. Terminator 2, definitely better than the original Terminator.
Agreed. And also, I would wager I make a same argument for essentially Captain America.
I literally was going to say Winter Soldier. Winter Soldier.
I just watched both of them. I still think the original is better. And I love Winter Soldier.
No, Winter Soldier is probably the best of the entire.
I think that's yeah.
Well, regardless, there's still not a lot of sequels that are better than the original.
You're right.
But considering how much sequels tend to drop, I don't think Guardians 2 dropped as much as other sequels.
Yeah.
I think it still had the heart. And I really enjoyed how they introduced Mantis.
Yeah.
And
I agree.
everyone loves the Drax Mantis relationship. I love when he tells her that she's beautiful and then waits and is on the inside.
I think Dave Bautista as Drax is possibly the standout character. Like, we always knew, anybody who's watched Parks and Rec, you knew what you were going to get, right, in the lead character. Zoe Saldana is there to kick ass. She's brilliant. She's fantastic. She does what she's going to do. Karen Gillan, fantastic. Like, another great story arc. First one, brilliant because of who she is, and the evolution into the second one, and then put through that. So we see that. But Drax is just brilliant. He is the straight man. He gets all the best lines, gets to play that tire fish out of water, but his delivery and the script is out of this world.
You don't have to believe in yourself, because I believe in you. I never thought she'd be able to do it with as weak and skinny as she appears to be.
You're right about his delivery. I feel like that's what gives it those pauses that he puts that almost don't belong. And sometimes in some of the sentences, but like that pause that he gives just makes it brilliant.
Yeah,
you're right.
And he's almost the heart of it. Like we talked about how you have the heart of the different things. He's almost the heart of this, because he's quietly beating in the background and doing his thing and gluing things together in that way. But he also just brings the humor at those moments. You know, it's the lines he brings, the humor he brings. Almost to the point where, you know, Mallory's about to cry and then Drax delivers a line and it just takes the edge off, right? So, no, I absolutely, Guardians 1 is fantastic and is one of the best of the MCU films, I would argue. I know Luke just put together a spreadsheet and we're all going to start rewatching and scoring these films as we go through them. But I'm going to call it right now, Guardians will be in the top 5. I would argue.
It's just so good. So
it's definitely in my top 5, and it has been, I mean, for a long time, because it's the perfect team up movie. It's got a phenomenal soundtrack. The visuals are stunning. Some of the funniest lines in any movie.
So
and it's just seen. Yeah.
Somebody says to you, put on a Guardians movie. Which one are you putting on?
Bring on one.
One.
Yeah.
Whereas if somebody says to me, put on a Captain America movie, which one are you putting on? I'm putting on Winter Soldier.
I'm putting on Civil War.
Yeah, that still wouldn't.
Haven't gotten back to my rewatch, but I love Civil War.
Civil War's great, but Civil War is just an unofficial Avengers movie, isn't it?
That's why I almost don't want to call it. That's why I agree with you, Max. I think I would put on Winter Soldier because for me, Civil War is Avengers 2.5. Yeah, exactly. You took the words out of my mouth. Avengers 2.5. That's what it is. Yeah.
Okay.
But one of the things that I think we could talk about at another time, which I didn't realize it until I was rewatching Guardians 2, is Nepo babies.
Go on.
Because obviously Kurt Russell is Ego.
Yep.
And Wyatt Russell is the Patriot.
Ah. Yeah. That was something I'd not put.
I did not get that connection until just now.
I mean,
You're welcome.
nepotism is rife, and Guardians of the Galaxy is an example of that because whose brother's in it gets a starring role suddenly becomes a huge actor in it. Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Right. Also, Sean Gunn has 2 roles. He plays, I'm gonna forget the Ravenger's name, like the main character he plays, but then he's also the body double for Rocket.
Yep. And I mean,
Oh yeah.
I'd love to know is that an Oasis style? No, I'll take Liam with you because you're babysitting. Is Mrs. Gunn be like, you have to babysit him, you take him and look after him, and he's like, well, if I'm making a film, you're in it. Go on you go.
No, but he's good. He's the one that always gets me during the funeral scene because all the Ravagers are there. They're coming in because Rocket called them. And what you may have forgotten about the movie is in the beginning of the movie or shortly after the beginning of the movie, Sylvester Stallone tells Yondu he's never getting a Ravager's funeral because he kidnapped children and essentially and we don't know at the time, but what he did was giving them to Ego. And he's like, you don't deal in kids. You're like out, you're done. And it destroyed Yondu. And Sean Gunn's character hears it. And then at the end of the movie, when they're all there because Rocket told them what they did, I'm already getting goosebumps just talking about it. And Sean Gunn starts like hooting and hollering. Like that's what gets me because like his eyes are filled with tears. I start crying.
I think my issue with the second one is Ego. It just isn't a great character, isn't a great villain.
No,
just doesn't feel. I don't know. There's just something about Ego I don't think feels threatening enough, which is strange because ultimately Ego, is pretty huge. But we get the Watchers in 2, right? There's that part where they jump through time and Stan Lee sitting with the Watchers.
Yeah,
which is a pretty cool
right. Stan Lee with him.
Yeah. But Ego just doesn't do it for me as a villain. Just doesn't. I don't know.
I think it's necessary just to explain Peter Quill, but I don't think he needed to be the main villain. I would have liked there to be a bigger villain, and Ego is more of like the side villain. You're finish Act 2, you think you're done, but wait, there's more.
Yeah. Okay. We've driven into the Guardians. We briefly discussed Apocalypse. What I can say is I watched Apocalypse when it first came out, and I was really disappointed with it and thought it was a mess of a movie. Nothing to do with what is an outstanding cast, let's not lie about it. I just didn't think it worked particularly well. I'd have to go back and watch it, but I just feel like it had loads of flaws in it.
Yeah, I remember the same. I think I've maybe watched it twice. I think when it came out in the cinema, and I think I've watched it 1 or 2 times maybe on the streaming. And my memory of it is very similar to yours, Max. That the cast is great because I loved X-Men First Class. I thought that was actually a really good kind of reset, especially with James McAvoy as Dr. X. I really enjoyed Days of Futures Past. That kind of bridged, obviously, Hugh Jackman's Wolverine coming into now this younger cast situation. I do remember being disappointed with Apocalypse for a multitude of reasons. And it's just, for me, it doesn't... But I had an issue with it, but nothing that I can really remember. And I think that's also kind of telling, like, I can't even remember what I didn't like about it. I just know I didn't like it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I there's nothing I can think... I couldn't... There's nothing It put me off the next film. Like, it put me off Dark Phoenix. It, like, left a bad taste in my mouth about the X-Men movies.
I don't even think I've seen Dark Phoenix.
Yeah.
I've seen it once.
I don't even think I watched it. And that's with Sophie Turner, right? That's Jean Grey. That's Sophie Turner.
Yeah. So, yeah. It definitely... I know. It was a big misstep, I think, in the X-Men, in what was, up until that point, some very good X-Men movies.
Agreed.
I think it's because, and maybe the reason why you guys didn't like it as much is that the bad guy, because normally it is Magneto versus the rest of the X-Men. And it's Magneto, who has a good reason for wanting to go after the humans. I mean, he survived the Nazis. He could see in the tea leaves, essentially, what could happen to mutants.
Yep.
And so in his mind, he's trying just to save his people. And so
He's
while he's a
been
bad guy,
persecuted
for a
twice.
bad reason.
Yeah, he's been persecuted twice. Obviously, being Jewish in Nazi Germany, and then obviously being a mutant as well. So
The thing is
that
they both want the
what do
same
you
thing.
want? Shame on you. Fool me twice. He's like, I'm not going to play that game.
Yeah.
Whereas Apocalypse is really just like mutants are bust. He has no reason to hate the humans. He just does. So he's just kind of, I think, a little more flat as a bad guy.
I mean, the greatest thing about the X-Men was they always wanted the same thing. It was equality. It was always about equality. And doesn't matter what generation you look at the X-Men as characters, and what they're doing. They're fighting for race rights. They're fighting for gender equality. They're fighting for rights for it's always the same thing. They fight for rights, but they both want the same thing.
That Apocalypse.
Let's just say Professor X and Magneto, they want the same thing. They just want to go about it in different ways. Magneto is very much wanted to go about it. You say that in some of the stories in the comic books and stuff, that changes. That whole dynamic moves on. And it'll be interesting to see now the X-Men are back in the MCU. What's to happen? What are we going to get with the X-Men? So that's
know what I want more of? And I know we get it eventually, but I do want more Evan Peters as Quicksilver. He's just so different than the Quicksilver we get in Age of Ultron. And I think he's just more fun. I think he's more realistic in terms of he's a kid, he's feeling.
Well, don't we get him for a hot second?
Yeah, but this is it, isn't it? We get that whole thing in WandaVision. Where
WandaVision, yeah.
He is there and he is playing a character by that name. And then, but remember at that point, they didn't have the rights to the X-Men, and so it was this whole weird sort of scenario, and then we hadn't really gone into the multiverse at that point either.
It's so true. I forgot that at that point when WandaVision came out, they hadn't made the deal with Fox yet. Forgot that.
But it was still fun. And his scenes are so much fun. His scene actually in Apocalypse, I think, is one of my favorite scenes, where what's his face? Who's the guy with the glasses? His brother blows up the school, essentially.
Oh, yeah.
And Evan Peters shows up right in the nick of time and is just running through, saving everybody. And it's in slow-mo. It's not paused, which is correct, because it's not like the world stops around him. It just goes slower around him. And so him saving everybody, including the fish, including the dog, it's a fun scene.
So, spin off a little bit here on that. You know what's a fun scene? Is the scene in the Flash movie, the opening scene in the Flash movie.
Oh, yeah.
Where he does the exact same sort of thing, and but he's running out of energy and the food and all that. The CGI is awful. The CGI in that scene is so bad on those babies. I don't know how that ever made it through. It was almost like they went, we have budget to market this movie, or we can fix how bad these babies look. And they were like, let's market it. Like there was some conversation somewhere where they were just like, oh, they never got around to finish it. But the CGI is awful. I actually like that movie. I think
The Flash?
The Flash is a very good movie. I think it's fun. It's everything it should be. I know there's lots of issues with the actor. There's lots of things going on behind the scenes, but I actually enjoyed that movie. And that scene, I think, is loads of fun. Even his interaction, right the way up to the point where they interact with Wonder Woman, and the lasso of truth is on Batman. What did he say? Batfleck says something. It's really out of character, but it's brilliant. And then he says, "I'm still a virgin," or something along those lines. The Flash. He's like, "I don't mean that. That's not true."
I don't think I've seen it since that came out. Maybe I'll give that one a go.
It's much better than. It was probably one of the better films of that DCEU. I would argue.
Yeah, that I think we should do an episode just on that one of these days, because I want to go all the way back to like 1960s Batman and bring it forward. How it went from camp crap to kind of campy and good, and then to crap again.
It might have to be a staff pick down the road, but they did do another Batman cartoon movie with the original cast as the voice actors. And I saw a show for that
Adam West.
with Adam West.
Adam West.
Guys.
Yeah.
Oh,
And one of my favorite things, so we watch it at Comic-Con. The original cast is there. There's a Q&A after. And one of the things they said is that because of Batman spoilers, turns into bad Batman, which is just current Batman. Because original Adam West Batman wasn't shooting people. He wasn't like as like intense. And so he turned into modern day Batman, which is just bad Batman.
Moody.
Well, I mean, that was my biggest problem with Batman being Superman. Is you just got him in the Batmobile, just like blowing stuff up, cars, bridges, buildings, and I'm like, Batman doesn't kill people. Like, it took me out of the movie, like immediately when that happened, and I was just like, I can't give this any credence. I was like, the one thing about Batman is like, he's gonna beat the crap out of you, but you're gonna live, and you're gonna end up in Arkham, whereas he's just haphazardly just like shooting all over the place. Like, I couldn't handle that.
At risk of being controversial, the new Batman's pretty good.
The Robert Pattinson one?
It's
Yeah,
I think.
and I love his Batmobile.
Yeah,
His Batmobile is awesome.
I think it's good because it focuses on the detective Batman, which is ultimately, what Batman is. He's a great detective who has loads of cool toys and does loads of cool things, but he's a great detective. That's his whole spiel.
He's also he's younger than the Batmans we're used to. Like, he's not as developed yet, which I really enjoyed also. And Robert Pattinson's going to be on a roll this upcoming year because he's on the Odyssey, right, Batman 2, and there's something else that I'm blanking on.
I'm adding it to the list. The best Batman.
I think
Just the year away, I did do the research. Luke made a comment in episode 1 about Batman, or about James Bond, and I actually Googled it at the time. There's been more people play Batman than there has James Bond.
I did. We've had so many Batman. Obviously, being the first one,
Which is crazy. But if Bond can do it, then surely we can all recast it. It's not a problem.
Yeah.
But I think the thing with James Bond, though, and I think I read this somewhere, is that James Bond, the rumor or the theory is that James Bond name 007 is the identity. Like, it's not. There's been so many James Bonds, as like it could be like Chris Luciano, who's now James Bond. Like, it's whoever you are. When you get to that level of within the British intelligence, that's just the code name you're given. You're given the James Bond.
Robin from The Princess Bride.
I think it's more just a case of people can accept that they don't have to be interconnected, that you can tell a good story and it could be a story on its own. We did have, with Daniel Craig, there was that narrative that ran through it. So we did see that while Daniel Craig was Bond, they had a sort of narrative universe that ran through it. But ultimately...
That with Pierce Brosnan, too. With a few that he did.
To a degree.
I think there was some...
The problem with the Pierce Brosnan ones was it started off really good and Bondy and the right amount of camp and the right amount of futuristic, and it ended with invisible cars and basically ended out in Fast and Furious.
About that.
And we can call it Fast and Furious at one point as well.
Oh no, that's happening because it's one of my favorite franchises.
We'll get there.
One of the worst rides at Universal, but it's a good movie.
As considering Steph and I were there in May, I could not agree with you more. But the new ride that they're putting out, it looks amazing. The cars spin. It looks so cool. You should check it out.
I mean,
a real roller coaster.
If you want to go on a Cars ride, you go on a Lightning McQueen ride, right? It's the real Cars.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we've done to death where Mallory's up to.
Yeah.
We've reached that.
But speaking about where Mallory was, one of the things they talked about in Guardians of the Galaxy 2, or didn't talk about, but showed, which I think goes into something else we wanted to discuss today, is those other Ravagers.
Yep.
There was Sylvester Stallone, there was, I'm going to blank on everyone else's name, but during the funeral scene, there was all these other Ravagers, and then in I think it's the second end credit scene, they all came together and they were like, we should team up again. And it really was setting it up for a show or a movie that has gone nowhere. And I think that was a missed opportunity. I know we talked about the Howling Commandos, as Matt, I think you said last week or the week before, and that was a missed opportunity. But I think one of the things I haven't been enjoying are the TV shows that are coming from TV shows. I would much rather these like snippets that we get in movies where you're kind of starting to see them and actually get to know them, and then it goes into a TV show, either before or after. Like I would have enjoyed seeing the Ravagers. Maybe even bring Yandu back from when they were all, together.
I think the issue you'd always have there was, well, I say this now, getting Sliced alone to commit to doing a show like that would be hard.
He's done it though. I mean, he's doing Tulsa King right now, which is he's doing a television show, which is brilliant.
Yeah,
I mean, phenomenal.
Also, the budget would have been out of this world. Do you know what I mean? To create this is the issue, and we you see it in Star Trek, even the newer Star Treks. The budgets reach a point where the special effects are Doctor Who-esque, shall we say, BBC budget-esque at some points, and you reach that point where you think, if we can't do it justice, do we do it at all? You're right. I'd love to see a Ravager show. I think there would be so much to have fun with there, so many different places to go. I know at one point, will we not pitch the idea of like an office-style comedy set in an insurance company in the Marvel universe?
It was in no, I think it was. I think it was in Nova, like the Nova Corps.
Oh, no, this was just human beings, normal human beings based in Kansas or St. Louis or something.
Oh, no, what you're right, yes.
And they were going to do
like
this whole, like, office-style comedy, but they lived in this, and they're going out to, like, where superheroes have destroyed whole cities and having to do insurance claims and stuff like that. Damage Inc. I've kept covered in the Spider-Man stuff. There's those conversations I had, but there was, that's what you want, is you want to be able to have a shared universe and a TV show that you don't have to watch the movies, but it adds to. If you do watch it, it adds to it. There's moments that you like, but also on its own, it can stand on its own two legs. And maybe that's been the issue with some of these shows is that they can't stand on their own two legs. You need to know the backstory before you get to them.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I also would have taken a Ravagers movie. It doesn't have to be a show.
True.
But don't set it up and then disappoint me.
I mean, the Guardians are still out there, though.
I know, but they haven't announced anything. They've even like in fast forwarding to Thor: Love and Thunder and the Eternals, they set up so many other things that they could have gone into, and they've already announced they're not going to. Like, stop setting me up to disappoint me.
Well, Blade is not dead, like we talked about last week. Blade's not quite dead yet.
Hercules is dead.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Hercules, yeah.
But then Hercules was introduced as the most random.
I know.
I
love
he wasn't.
Brett Goldstein.
But really, Brett Goldstein as this Hercules, I was just like, what was his name in Ted Lasso? I was just like, what are you doing? That's Roy Kent. Roy Kent. I was like, you can't. He's one of those people that you're like, he's Roy Kent, but he's Roy Kent, but he's Roy Kent. And he's a writer on the Shrink show with Harrison Ford, and he's like the main showrunner and writer or something. One of the main writers on that.
Oh, I didn't know that.
That's his like
The writer on Ted Lasso.
Oh yeah,
He got Roy Kent because nobody else could do it.
So he tells an amazing story about how he's an actor first and a writer second, but he does both. He always has, but he also does stand up comedy. So he's got his comedy specials out there and stuff as well. So he does a great thing where he was like, I'm sitting there and I'm reading it. I'm like, it's me. It is me. And he's like, but I don't want to say to him in the room, give me the audition. Let me audition. He goes, so eventually I'm sitting there doing a read through and they're like, it's you. He's like, well, I was thinking it, guys. But he's brilliant. He's, again, such a fantastic moment. Such a great character in those films. I don't know how they do Ted Lasso season 4. It should have finished where it was. That's my opinion, but we'll get.
We'll see.
Speaking of Love and Thunder, also cool to have Russell Crowe in it as well.
Yep.
Is
But I mean, Love and Thunder. Love and Thunder for me, I suffered from the same issue that the Guardian suffered with, where a director believed their own hype and their own ability to do something. Love and Thunder doesn't hold up. Watch it a second time, it's nowhere near as funny. Watch it a third time, it's not funny. Like, this illusion is
it's almost bad.
Yeah, Ragnarok is still funny. It still holds up. but Love and Thunder just doesn't quite. It just misses the mark. And that, for me, that was the director. That was the director saying, I'm now the star of the show. And it's my concern with the DC universe is that James Gunn is seeing himself as the star of the show.
That's been my issue. That's been my fear with Gunn taking over the DCU, is that I feel like he's got this. I mean, listen, I think to be a Hollywood director or actor for that matter, you have to have an ego. Like, you have to. But I think his has grown so much, especially with all the controversy between him and Marvel over the Guardians and how like they had to like almost beg him to come back because the actors, Chris Pratt and everybody was just like, hey, we're not going to do it unless Gunn's directing. So he kind of put Disney between a rock and a hard place. And then after he's done that, he just goes and signs this massive deal with DC and Warner Brothers. I just feel like his ego was up here, and it's more about him, I think, than it is about the characters. Yeah. And like we were talking about last week, and the story, having good stories, bring everybody together.
But we'll get on to the DCU. Batman universe.
I have a lot of feelings on DC.
We'll get there one day. Okay. Luke, you got some Lego news for us.
I do. So, I mean, I'll preface this by saying that, as Max mentioned earlier, I love Lego. Have loved Lego since I was the kid where you would get, it'd be Christmas time, you get that one big set like the police station or the hospital or whatever, and it'd be like estimated time to complete 4 hours. I'd do it in like 90 minutes. Like I loved this stuff. And there's so much Lego out there for adults. You don't have to be a kid to enjoy this thing. So I have 2 pieces of Lego news, one of which I actually just learned today. Legoland, New York, as of a few months ago, if you don't have kids, you can still go to the park. So last week, I think I mentioned that you couldn't go unless you had kids. I did some research, and that I want to retract that. I was wrong, audience and friends here. You can go. So
Lego, please don't sue us. Like the letter you sent us threatening to sue us because we said that. Please now accept this as a full retraction.
Yes, full retraction.
Otherwise, we'll have to get our lawyer onto you, and this isn't her suit of law.
That's true. It's not really her line of lawyering. So, and the other pieces of news is 2 things. So number one, for those Pirates of the Caribbean fans out there, both the movies and the ride from Disney, there is a petition for the Lego creators, which I will send over the website link for that, where you can vote on fan submitted sets. And if the sets get a certain amount of, upvotes and a certain amount of likes and things like that, Lego will consider actually making the set and making it available to all of us. Pirates of the Caribbean, the Black Pearl, is very close to its 10,000 signature mark. So if you have any interest in that, I will share the website and we will share our social medias. So you can go and, add your name to the list and upvote that. And the other piece of news is near and dear to my heart. And if you can see over is my left shoulder right here, this is the NCC 1701, which is the Starship Enterprise. And the rumor is that Star Trek, which had its previous exclusive agreement with Blue Brick, which is a smaller company, I believe, based in China, to do their Star Trek sets, that deal ended in 2024. And the big rumor is that on November 28th, 2025, Lego will be releasing the NCC 1701D, which is the Star Trek Enterprise ship that was captained by none other than Patrick Stewart, aka Jean-Luc Picard. That is scheduled to be released. Apparently, this is the rumor. It's not confirmed yet by Lego. On November 28th, it is rumored to cost approximately $400 and consists of 3,600 pieces, including several minifigures, which would include Jean-Luc Picard, William Riker, Data's cat, and several others as well. Will Wheaton's character, Will Crusher, Dr. Crusher as well, Will Wheaton's mom. So I think there's going to be 9 minifigures in total. And again, that's part of the total 3,600 piece set. So that is the rumor out there right now. Not confirmed, but I've already earmarked my $400 in my account that will be going to obtain that set so I can add it to my ship collection, which right now includes the Millennium Falcon, the small version, because the $800 one is just ridiculous, and the Razor Crest as well. So that is my Lego news for this week. And
there we go. Some big games.
Surprise.
I don't get to play with that type of Lego, unfortunately. My kids are still into the little Lego. One day we'll get there.
Duplos?
Yeah. No, they do the Lego. They do Lego, but it's like Disney Frozen Lego, Rapunzel Lego. We did get an X-Man one, Wolverine, which was a sort of almost anime style one, which was technically for me, but the kids built it.
Yeah, there's some really great sets out there. But like we were talking about last week, it's all about IP. I mean, for me, if there's an IP that needs Lego, it is Star Trek. So if Lego did finally get the rights with Paramount and now Skydance, to get the rights, there's so much you could do. It's not just the Enterprise. You have the USS Farragut, you have the Klingon Warbirds, you have the Borg Cube. There's the Voyager, Deep Space Nine. There are so many ships and creatures and just that you can do. I don't know. Just it's very exciting times if this is all true.
Excellent. And you obviously mentioned Riker there.
Yeah, William Riker.
Yeah, Jonathan.
Played by Jonathan Frakes. Yeah, who directs so much Star Trek. I mean, he
in Discovery.
Yeah, I think in season 2, I think he directed like 4 or 5 episodes of season 2, and he continues on with this subsequent seasons of Discovery as well as Strange New Worlds as well.
Which is it's interesting because you do see that a lot with Star Trek cast members who then go on, once their show sort of finishes, they end up directing some of their show, and then they go on and direct more. It's like it almost becomes a fraternity where they start doing universe, very directing stuff within their own universe.
Very true. And there also is some Paramount news, if you'll indulge me a little bit, because it's kind of connected to the Lego stuff, because I was talking about Star Trek Lego. With the merger of Skydance and Paramount, which happened, I think, within the last 2 weeks, the CEO, Chief Creative Officer, I believe, of Paramount Skydance now, it has pretty much put the full backing of Paramount behind Star Trek, and saying it's one of their biggest IPs, and that they want to not only bring more shows like Star Trek Academy, which is coming out next year, which is the first time that you've ever seen a show just about cadets going through the academy, which is very cool. That, like I said, that comes out next year. But we may see some more films in the Kelvin timeline. Simon Pegg recently came out and said he'd love to do it, and the new CEO, and I forget his name, has said how much he enjoyed the Chris Pine, Zachary Quinto, Simon Pegg Kelvin timeline, and how he would love to get everybody back on board. So we may see some more movies. We may see some more Kirk Spock movies, and/or a straight up show, maybe spin off of Strange New Worlds. So it's an exciting time, I think, to start getting to Star Trek.
We'll see. Just a quick runner. You mentioned Paramount there. They've managed to snatch the Duffer Brothers away from Netflix. So the Duffer Brothers are the brothers who created Stranger Things. Obviously, that's due to finish up. Is it next year? Later this year?
End of this year.
I think it's this year. So
yeah, 26th, Christmas Eve, then New Year's Eve.
There we go.
I think is it 8 episodes?
I know it's going to be 2 volumes in the finale.
Yeah, 2 volumes. So I think it's either 4 episodes, 3 episodes, and then the big finale. And the rumor that I've seen is that not one of the episodes is less than an hour and 15 minutes, with the finale being, I think, almost 2.5 hours. So it's pretty much for getting a full length movie as a finale.
Yeah,
more than a full length movie.
And we're getting full length. What would technically be full length movies, be big enough to be full length movies, including the credits in a cinema. So each episode. And then did we see the Deadpool Doomsday tweet rounds?
I did not see that.
Ryan Reynolds put out a tweet with the Avengers logo, and he's drawn an anarchy symbol over the top of it for the A. There's whole rumors that he's going to get his own team in Doomsday.
Oh my God, X-Force? Is X-Force going to be there?
I think we might see Blade sooner than we thought we would see Blade.
Oh, you know, that's so true. But which Blade?
Oh,
probably was this.
Lionel Snow.
I think we're getting Wesley. I'm not gonna lie. I think we're gonna get
I
Wesley.
think we're getting Wesley.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think you would too.
And then did you see the Charlie Cox news? Charlie Cox was at a Comic-Con recently and was asked a question about season 2 and used the phrase "final season," which has caused a lot of people to spiral. So we can confirm that Vincent has come out and said, I don't think he meant final season. I know we were talking, him and Vincent and Charlie were having a conversation talking about season 3. And just before we started recording, Charlie Cox had clarified somewhere that he didn't mean final season. He meant like the final of the season, the finale, rather than the final season. Yeah, so there was lots of... But Charlie Cox has confirmed that if they're allowed to do a season 3, he'll be back to do a season 3.
You got to be careful at what you say at Comic-Con because that blows up real quick.
Well, I think it was just a smaller con. Yeah, it was just a smaller con, and somebody asked him the question, and he just said, something about being final, and you know how that goes. But as nerds, we get upset about these things. We do. Okay, so that rounds us round to that part of the show where one of us is going to pitch the other two on something to watch. The staff pick, as we've routinely called this section, and this week Mallory is going to be running the staff pick.
Right, and we have gotten some questions about why we call it the staff pick. So, from our audience members, so I'd like to take this opportunity to clarify. So many moons ago, when Max and I were younger lads, we worked at Blockbuster Video.
There's a great choice of new movies at Blockbuster this summer. Take home The Gripping Vertical Limit, the inspiring Castaway, or the award-winning Traffic, all available on video or DVD. And because we buy more copies than anyone else, the Blockbuster promise means you can rent these movies now or get them free next time. Blockbuster, bringing entertainment home.
And one of the things that we would do, as most video stores did back in the day, including Blockbuster, is they would have the staff pick out movies or shows, and we'd have a whole section of our wall, and that's where we would put up our favorite things, whether it was maybe Avengers or something else. Although Avengers came out when I was still in the movie, still in the theaters.
Iron Man would have been there about that. Iron Man, Cap, Thor.
Yeah, Iron Man, Cap would have been there. So we had a whole section of our Blockbuster store in Liverpool that had our staff pick section. So we figured when we were pitching to someone else about the different shows and genres that we like, let's call it staff picks as a paying homage not only to our former employer but also the just
Going to Blockbuster on Friday night.
The good old days. Where was I recently? I was somewhere and I bumped into somebody who was Scouse. And I said, where do you live in Liverpool? And they said, they were like, I can't even think where they said they lived. And I was like, I used to work in the Blockbuster on Allerton Road. And they were like, oh my God, I used to go in there all the time. And like, we've probably met before then.
Probably.
Okay.
I used to love getting those questions back in the day.
Yeah.
Hey, mate, what are you doing here?
My favorites were always, why is High School Musical playing? And then me and Matt would look at Rob and be like, I don't know, Rob chose it. Rob was obviously the assistant manager, big burly Rob,
yep.
who was formerly a bouncer, certainly built like a bouncer. I had that look and was definitely not the type that would pick High School Musical and had not picked High School Musical. I will clarify for those now. It was never Rob that selected it. It was always me and Matt. But we always made out that it was Rob that had chosen it. So let's go. What are you pitching us on?
So I don't think it's going to be a surprise. We've talked about it the last 2 weeks, but it's going to be Doctor Who. Matt and I...
Big guns early.
It's what? Oh, I have
to bring out
I
big guns early. Okay.
Because as you'll learn, because Luch, you do not watch Doctor Who. I know you've said you watched a couple episodes. Matt and I do watch it. There's a lot to watch. The show's been on the air since 1963. It actually aired the day after the JFK assassination. started 80 seconds late because they were doing updates about the JFK assassination. It hasn't been, continuously airing since 1963. The original classic Who ended in 1989. They tried reviving it back in 1996 with a TV movie that was supposed to kind of jumpstart the series again with an eye towards an American audience. It didn't really do well. And then they brought it back, what we call New Who, in 2005 with Christopher Eccleston and Billie Piper, who he watched her music video last week, which really has gone on and done very well. And that's the iteration that's been on, that is currently on. They are all connected. It is one show, one series that just continues to grow. And people will ask me, do I need to have seen Classic Who? Because that is intimidating. Because it is 26 years worth of TV shows.
Yeah.
You don't need to. You can start with the 2005 New Who and you'll be perfectly fine. The show has heart. It gives you hope. There is humor. It makes you want to be a better person. It makes you want to be the type of person that the Doctor likes. And the Doctor is an alien. He's a Time Lord. That is his species. They look like humans, except for the fact that they have two hearts. That's really the only difference. And he travels through, although if you ask a Time Lord, is that humans look like Time Lords. And he travels through time and space with his TARDIS, which is the police box, which I think is a fun thing because you have time travel shows and you have space travel shows, but this is both. It started off as an educational show. The first companions were a science teacher and a history teacher, and it was meant to teach families and kids science and history. And it still has that educational, it still has that heart behind it. It's grown. We discussed that Disney is now helping to produce it. The scale has exponentially increased. I've been going back and watching the old stuff. There is aliens with a toilet plunger on the end of them, which is very different than the CGI aliens we get today that are still scary. And the episodes are scary. And they're fun. And they're funny. And you can get every type of genre within them. And they're fun for families. They're fun to watch on your own. And one of the things I really enjoy about them is that they do bring back old characters, original Doctor Who characters, old lore, and they do a good job of explaining it. So again, you don't need to watch the old stuff to watch the new stuff. And it's has so many spin-offs since then, with a new spin-off coming next year, I think. So, highly recommend. Luke, you should check it out. And listeners, you should check it out.
Well, I do know of at least one of the doctors, David Tennant.
Doctor Who's
my first real, I think the first episode I saw of Doctor Who, it was a David Tennant. It was one of the years where he was the Doctor.
He was fantastic,
and I just remember loving him in Jessica Jones as Kilgrave. And I was like, oh, this guy's brilliant in Jessica Jones. I can only imagine, if I can understand Doctor Who, how great he is as the Doctor.
He's a great doctor. People get very attached to their doctors.
So that's the question I was going to ask, Ashley, because you're, that's a very key thing for a lot of people. Who is your doctor? Matt.
My doctor is Matt Smith. And I also find that people's doctors are the ones that they've started watching live, which might have changed because...
Mine's David Tennant. I did watch the Christopher Eccleston, though. And I do remember Paul McGann. So the Paul McGann, the one-off. I remember watching some Sylvester McCoy ones on TV at points as well. But Christopher Eccleston, I remember that was the first season I sat down and watched. And it was because I was of an age where I could probably watch it consistently. But I've never been a fan of Christopher Eccleston. I've issues there. I just didn't. And then David Tennant arrived, and David Tennant was just so charismatic.
Doesn't kill, doesn't wound, doesn't maim, but I'll tell you what it does do. It is very good
at opening doors.
Brought with him excellent people, did a great job. He was just, I don't know, for me, Christopher Eccleston, thought he was too big for the role. He was like, I've done my one season, I'm off to Hollywood, I'm going to be a star. Whereas David Tennant has always gone back to the Doctor and been like, I did some good roles, but Doctor Who was the one that, helped me achieve where I got to and stuff. So, and I think David Tennant is just a wonderful person. Like that, touch wood, nothing comes out ever about him being a negative person. I can't imagine.
Yeah, I've heard nothing but positive things about David Tennant as an individual.
One of my favorite David Tennant fun facts is that he met his wife on the set of Doctor Who. His wife Georgia Moffat is the daughter of Pete Davidson, who was one of the doctors, and she came back to play an episode or to be in an episode called The Doctor's Daughter, where she played the Doctor's daughter, meaning she was David Tennant's daughter. So the Doctor's daughter is playing the Doctor's daughter and then marries the Doctor. So now she's the Doctor's daughter and the Doctor's granddaughter. And they have all these children together. And actually their son was in what's the new Targaryen TV show?
Oh, was it the
Dragons? Yeah, Ty Tennant is in House of Dragons.
So, particularly David Tennant as well, it has been fantastic. I don't know if you've seen the Michael Sheen David Tennant show that they did during COVID, and it masterpiece. Episodes can range from 15 minutes to like 7 or 8 minutes, but basically during COVID they were sitting at home and they were stuck, and it's brilliant because they just parody themselves. It's them on calls, and season 2 gets really meta, where the show's taken off and they want to make the show a proper show now COVID's finished or COVID's sort of waning, and so they keep dragging them into audition people to play them. And the two of them are both like, no, we want to play us. This show should be us. So they get loads of great cameos. It's fantastic.
It reminds me a little bit of Con Man, the one with Alan Tudyk.
A little bit like that, yeah. But all done all done online. They literally, like, every episode, apart from maybe a couple of scenes, is done this way, via this way. And they do a fantastic job of parodying themselves.
David Tennant's phenomenal. Matt Smith's phenomenal. But I will say, Christopher Eccleston, I think, did a great job of jumpstarting Doctor Who again. He obviously did well enough with Billie Piper to keep it going.
Yeah.
So I always say don't sleep on those episodes. Rewatch. If you're going to start again, start with the 2005 Christopher Eccleston. Get through it. And again, you'll need to know anything. The first couple episodes are a little boring, but go through them, watch them. They're a lot of fun.
That was going to be my next question. Like, do you recommend starting at 2005? So we're talking about 20 years of Who.
I do. I will also say they're once they got bigger, it's not like there's a season every year. So it's 20 years, but it's not 20 seasons.
I'm doing the math.
I'm doing them. Right. He's second tier.
Yeah.
To this point, I think there's 196 episodes going back as far as Christopher Eccleston.
Fine. If I could do 129 Marvel TV movies.
So where would one watch the Doctor Who if you were in America?
So I believe they were on HBO up until the Nishudi, the David Tennant specials. But I think that's what Matt and I were saying, that they might have come off of HBO to all go on Disney Plus.
I think they're just off of HBO at the moment. I don't know that they're all on Disney.
They might be. I hope they get somewhere, because check them out. So Anna, go into your Apple TV, search for it. But try HBO, and if not HBO, because for a while they were also on Amazon. Also, something that I do when I am not bored, but I need something good in the background that I enjoy watching, I do what I call Doctor Who Roulette. And so I go on, and then I have Siri on my phone pick a number between like whatever one and whatever the last season is. She picks, and then she picks the episode.
I like it. So it does tell me, a quick Google AI search, it says it is available on Disney Plus. The new stuff. So Savage using that. Yeah. So up till 2022. So would that be the specials? Is that what you'd said?
Yeah, that's Michelle. Yeah.
So yeah,
It should still be on the specials definitely be on Disney Plus because they were Disney.
You can catch them in the UK. They're on BBC iPlayer.
iPlayer. Yep.
And everybody
So I mean, listen, like I've said, Doctor Who, I feel like has always been like a fingernails away from like my reach. I feel like it's just beyond my ability to dive into. But I know how big of a Whovian you are. I know how big Doctor Who is. It's been huge for, like you said, since the 60s. I feel like it's very similar to, a Star Trek, the original series. I mean, that lore has been going back since the 60s as well.
I'm just looking all behind you and thinking you could do with another spaceship there and stay in class.
I could.
It could be a Dalek.
I feel actually the place where I got these, which I did get these at Comic-Con, these things.
They do have a TARDIS.
They do have a TARDIS. I've obviously never got it because, again, I was not against Who, just wasn't into it.
Why would
I do have space for it.
Can you tell us what that company is called? Because we'll stick a link in. Why not?
Off the top of my head,
yeah,
I will
Google it and I'll stick a link in.
Google it and provide it to everybody. No, but they are great. You got the New York City Comic Con every single year, doing these great stained glass pieces. I did get these professionally framed, but they are very, 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 very cool. And he has all kinds of ships. He's got, it'd be like Harry Potter. He's got all the different crests. I happen to have Enterprise, Firefly ship Serenity, and of course the Millennium Falcon, but you can kind of see behind me.
He also has really good t-shirts too. Like he has funny.
You should have been seeing type of images on the t-shirts. I just fell in love with the stained glass pieces just because they just look so damn cool.
And then we've got the jersey that we can't see a lot of right now. So if Mallory wants to turn into a fashion model and give us a spin,
give you a spin.
They do some great nerd hockey jerseys too.
GeekyJerseys.com. They have, obviously not a sponsor, but we would love to have them sponsor us.
We're nerds. We're just giving shout outs to companies that we like.
We are just because we're not. But
anything comes of that business wise for them, fantastic.
Exactly. Nothing, if nothing else, the quality of the jersey itself is of a very high level. I mean, it's probably damn near NHL, quality, I would say. And they have so much able to take an IP, twist it just enough to probably not get in trouble. And they did team up with Kevin Smith, so you can get all kinds of Kevin Smith jerseys, whether it's the Monroeville Zombies, just getting a quick stop jersey. I have a couple as well. I have have two quick stop jerseys actually, and a Clerks. So they're awesome. Right.
And they're really comfy.
Yes. That's pretty much what I wear all winter long when I'm not working, is one of my 37 hockey jerseys. I think I actually do have 37.
In a row?
In a row.
And on that note, I think that's possibly where we're going to end it this week. Go out, watch Doctor Who. Mallory's pitched it. We'll come back to you. So next week, we'll not be pitching something. Next week's episode, we'll be discussing Luch's first pitch, Luch's opening pitch, if you can call it that for the baseball fans out there.
Go with that.
We'll be discussing Star Trek Discovery. We'll catch up with who Mallory is on the Marvel Universe, and we'll see what other things occur to us. We've got a slowly building list on our running order at the moment. I feel like at one point I was concerned we might not have enough topics week by week, and already I can see that we've got about 200 episodes worth of topics so far. So we'll be good, guys. We're going to be here for a while. So
we're here for the long haul, guys.
Yeah.
And if there's something you guys want us to discuss or want our thoughts on, drop us a comment.
Our goal is always to achieve as much time as it's taken Mallory to watch all of the Marvel things. I think we need to possibly put that into the spreadsheet and work out exactly how much time Mallory has devoted to that entire thing.
There'll be another tab on it, is the duration of each one of those. Oh man. Okay. What?
I've spent too much time already, and there's so much more to go.
And on that note, we're going to wrap it up for this week. Thank you very much for listening. This was episode 3 of Not Quite Nerds. Make sure that you like and follow us on all your favorite social medias. Subscribe to our podcast wherever you're listening. Have a great time, and we will see you again next week.